Scott Lynn for Paul Linman on the KEX Morning Update. I have to tell you, and I hate to do it, but you're going to have to pay more to ride TriMet. The TriMet board yesterday voted to kill Portland's free rail zone, to raise fares, and to make cuts to bus service, decisions that will undoubtedly impact you if you're a transit-dependent rider. Joining us to talk about this, Mary Fetch of TriMet. Mary, a lot of people are upset about this, but apparently TriMet felt it had no choice.
You know, there were some tough budget choices that we were facing this year. We have a $12 to $17 million budget shortfall, and that's why we started our budget process 3 months early back in October. And we reached out to thousands of people. We solicited 16,000 comments from the public, and those comments mattered, and they actually helped influence the final package. So while we had some tough choices to make to close our budget shortfall, the public comment really helped shape and change the proposal. So these are tough, but we did reflect some of those priorities from the public, which they mostly said, keep the service. If we can get there, we want to be able to make our trip, but, and a little more tolerance for fare increases.
As you know, Mary, times are tough, and some people are counting their pennies while counting on TriMet to get them to and from work. How much are fares being raised, and can people afford this?
I think when you look at so let's say an adult fare, the 2-hour fare that takes effect in September will be $2.50. So people can take a round trip on that. So if you have a short trip, you're going to the grocery store or something, you finish your activities, you can actually travel in any direction during those 2 hours. So you can make a round trip on it. So the current fare is $2.10 or $2.40, depending on how you travel. So what we have found is most people are traveling throughout the entire system. So the zone system that started some 30 years ago just didn't make sense. When you think about the cost of transit, lots of studies always show that riding transit actually saves people a lot of money. So, yes, it does cost to ride the system and maintain the system, but it also helps a family budget as well over the car ownership.
The elimination of the free rail zone downtown, that's going to take some getting used to. How do you plan to implement that change to max?
Good question. It used to be called Fareless Square, and then a couple of years ago it moved to the free rail zone. It'll be a lot of signage changes that will begin this summer, and I think the other thing is a lot of people we're hearing from are happy about it for a couple of reasons. Most people are on a pass downtown, so it doesn't affect their travel. The other thing is it can increase the safety and security of the system by allowing us to check fares in downtown and in the Lloyd district. So that adds a lot more presence, and we'll also see a lot more people ensuring that they have their fare. So I think in a lot of areas, I think it's very beneficial.
Some bus services is being cut, some routes altered. How much are all these changes going to help with TriMet's multi-million-dollar budget deficit?
So roughly the changes to service and moving to a flat fare system and things like that save about, let's see, our shortfall is $12 million. So it's about $8 million roughly in savings and such. The costs that are driving our budget shortfall, other than the slow recovery and a concern of federal funding cuts in operating funds, is really our union contract that is currently unresolved. So, we could face another $5 million in cuts in the next few months, depending on the outcome of interest arbitration.
And when will you know about that?
At the end of July. So we could, we're facing some tough choices ahead as we work to bring that contract and the benefit package in line with the market.
And again, you have a roughly $20 million rainy day fund. Isn't it kind of rainy right now?
It's been a little bit rainy, but when you think about fuel costs, this $5 million additional need to cut service, one of the thoughts from the board member yesterday was to take $1 million from contingency and study low-income mitigation strategies. And we were already thinking about that. So how do we help folks because of this change from, say, the free rail zone to how do you help folks who are transit dependent and low income be able to make their trips?
Mary Fetch of TriMet has one of the most difficult jobs in Portland today. Mary, thanks for coming on to talk about the changes with us.
Thank you.